All right, so we're diving into daily self-improvement today. You guys sent in this motivational speech, daily things you need to improve in your life
Yeah, it's a good one.
from that Limitless Motivation YouTube channel.
Hmm.
And it lays out 10 areas, 10, to work on every single day.
Wow.
I gotta say, I was excited
Yeah.
and a little intimidated, I'll admit.
10 does seem like a lot, but the speech, it's not about these huge overnight changes.
Right.
It's about small, consistent actions.
Mm-hmm.
Like those little seeds
Okay.
that can grow into something truly remarkable over time.
So let's start with that first one, mindset.
Okay.
The speech has this cool analogy. It says your mind is like a garden.
I like that.
Whatever you plant in it
Mm-hmm.
will grow. So
Right.
are we planting seeds of doubt and fear?
Yeah.
Or are we like,
Cultivating a garden.
a garden of like possibility and courage?
That's a fantastic analogy, and it goes deeper than you might think at first. So imagine, like, your mind is full of weeds, right? Those negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs, the stuff that chokes out the good stuff.
Yeah.
So we need to identify those first and start pulling them out to make room.
Okay, so step one, weed identification.
Right.
Then what? Do we just like sprinkle some positive affirmations around?
Yeah.
Hope for the best?
Positive affirmations can help for sure.
Right.
But we got to think about fertilizing the soil too. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's about actively challenging those negative thought patterns and replacing them with like more empowering beliefs.
So instead of thinking, I'm not good at public speaking,
Yeah.
you'd say, I'm learning, I'm improving.
Right, exactly. I'm getting better with every opportunity.
I like that it's not about denying our weaknesses.
Right.
It's about like shifting the focus to the potential for growth.
Absolutely.
Makes me think of like fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Could you explain that to our listener?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So a fixed mindset, that's where I believe like our abilities are set in stone, right? Like we're either good at something
Got it or you don't.
or we're not. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
A growth mindset, though, believes that we can always learn and improve and develop new skills. It's embracing those challenges as opportunities to get better.
That makes so much sense, I think. A lot of us get stuck in that fixed mindset
Oh, for sure.
without even realizing it.
Absolutely.
Like we tell ourselves, oh, I'm just not a math person.
Right.
Or I'm not creative.
Totally.
But this speech suggests that those are just stories that we're telling ourselves.
Yeah, and we have the power to rewrite those stories.
Right.
By adopting that growth mindset, we're opening ourselves up to so many possibilities.
Okay.
We become more resilient, more adaptable, and more willing to take risks.
That's inspiring. All right, let's move on to skills.
Okay.
This section really resonated with me because I don't know about you, but the world is changing so fast.
Oh, tell me about it.
And it feels like the skills that we were learning, like yesterday, might be obsolete tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. And the speech highlights that, like, continuous learning and development are, like, essential for navigating today's world.
Yeah.
But it's not about becoming, like, a jack of all trades, right?
Yeah.
It's about honing in on the skills that are really crucial to your success, your unique success.
So finding your unique strengths and like doubling down on those.
Precisely. Think about, like, the skills that will help you excel in your career or solve problems more effectively, or pursue your passions.
What are the tools that are going to help you level up?
Exactly.
So for our listener, maybe they're a fantastic writer,
Okay.
but they need to improve their marketing skills to actually get their work out there.
Yeah.
It's targeted growth,
Absolutely.
not just trying to master everything.
Exactly. Identify those key skills and then commit to, like, even just 15 minutes a day to improving them. The speech suggests, finding resources like online courses or books, maybe even mentors,
That's a great idea.
to help accelerate your learning.
So even small, consistent effort, right,
Yes.
can lead to big progress over time.
Absolutely.
Speaking of consistency, let's talk about health.
Okay. Yeah.
The speech calls our bodies the vehicles through which we experience life.
Right.
Just like a car, right?
Yeah.
If you don't take care of it, it's going to break down.
It will.
And we often think of health in terms of like these grand gestures, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Intense workouts, restrictive diets. But this speech advocates for small daily choices that compound over time.
It's the little things.
So like choosing water over soda,
Yeah.
taking the stairs instead of the elevator,
Right. Exactly.
getting an extra hour of sleep, that kind of thing.
Those are great examples. And it's not just about physical well-being either.
Right.
The speech, it connects health to our energy levels, our mood, our ability to focus.
I've noticed that when I'm, eating well, exercising,
Yeah.
getting enough sleep, I
Yeah.
definitely feel
Yeah.
more energized and focused.
You just function better.
I
Right.
do.
Yeah.
So, all right, next up is relationships.
Okay.
And I love that this speech
Hmm.
highlights the importance of all relationships.
Yeah.
Family, friends, colleagues, even the relationship with ourselves.
Right. It's not just about romantic relationships
Right.
or like those really close friendships. It's about fostering these connections with everybody around us.
Because we thrive on connection, right?
We do.
We need those positive interactions, those strong support systems
They're essential.
to our well-being and our
Yeah.
success. So it's not about grand gestures
Right.
or trying to be everybody's best friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's consistent, small actions that strengthen those bonds.
Exactly. Think about like daily acts of kindness.
Okay.
A genuine compliment, a listening ear, a helping hand.
Those little things can go a long way.
They really can. You know, the speech actually shares a story about a CEO, brilliant at strategy,
Okay.
but struggling with team morale.
Interesting.
He realized he wasn't taking the time to connect with his employees on a personal level.
No.
So he started making an effort to show empathy, give recognition, foster collaboration.
I know.
It was remarkable. Team morale went way up. The company's performance reached new heights.
So even in a professional setting,
Yeah,
nurturing those connections can be huge.
absolutely.
Okay, now let's talk about something that feels like a superpower in today's world. Focus.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
In this age of constant distractions,
Right.
that ability to focus deeply
Mm-hmm.
is so valuable.
It's like training a muscle.
Okay,
The more you practice, the stronger it gets.
so how do we do that?
Well, the speech suggests, creating a distraction-free workspace,
Okay.
turning off those notifications, maybe using something like the Pomodoro method.
Pomodoro method, can you explain that for our listeners who might not be familiar?
Yeah, it's basically a time management technique.
Okay. You work in focused intervals, usually like 25 minutes, followed by a short break.
Okay,
So you're breaking down tasks into manageable chunks.
so it's not about forcing yourself to focus for hours on end.
Right.
It's about working in these shorter bursts with dedicated concentration.
Exactly. And those short breaks are so important. They prevent burnout and allow your mind to rest and recharge.
I've heard that even just taking a few minutes to step away from your work, go for a walk, do some stretches, can really help.
It can.
Clear your head,
Yeah.
improve your focus.
It's all about finding what works for you
Right.
and creating a routine that supports sustained attention.
All right, next up is habits.
Okay.
And this speech has this powerful line. It says, how you spend your days is how you spend your life.
That's a good one.
It's a good reminder that, our lives are ultimately the sum of our daily choices.
They really are. And our habits, both big and small,
Yeah.
shape our reality.
So the speech encourages us to do like a daily habit audit.
Okay.
Identify the habits that serve us well
Mm-hmm.
and those that are holding us back.
Right. And then focus on making those small, consistent changes.
It's about choosing one habit to work on at a time.
Exactly. Don't try to overhaul your entire life overnight. Focus on making that one change stick, and then you move on to the next one.
It reminds me of this story from the speech about a student who was struggling academically.
Okay.
And he decided to just focus on one habit at a time. And he started with creating a consistent study schedule.
Oh, good for him.
Then he moved on to improving his note-taking technique and then to implementing active recall strategies.
Wow, that's great.
And by tackling one habit at a time, his academic performance completely transformed.
Amazing.
He went from being like a struggling student to the top of his class.
That's incredible.
It shows you how those seemingly small changes, when done consistently, can lead to huge results.
Yeah, they really can.
Now let's talk about knowledge.
Yeah, okay.
We are living in the information age,
We are.
where knowledge is power and ignorance is a choice.
It is.
This speech emphasizes the importance of acquiring deep, meaningful knowledge, not just random facts.
Right. It's about understanding the world around us, using that knowledge to make better decisions
Yeah.
and live more fulfilling lives.
And it doesn't prescribe a specific path for learning, right?
No. It's about finding what works for you.
So whether that's reading or listening to podcasts, taking online courses, engaging in thoughtful discussions.
Exactly. The key is to be curious, to seek out new information, to make learning a daily habit.
The speech shares a story about a woman who felt stuck in her career.
Okay.
She committed to expanding her knowledge base,
Mm-hmm.
reading industry publications, taking online courses, attending webinars,
Good for her.
and it paid off big time. Not only did she get promoted,
Wow.
but she also identified a new market opportunity for her company.
That's fantastic.
It shows that investing in our knowledge is an investment in ourselves.
Absolutely.
Now let's move on to resilience. We all know that life throws curveballs.
Oh, yeah.
And resilience is our ability to bounce back from those setbacks.
The speech uses a great analogy. It says, our minds are like parachutes. They only work when they're open.
I love that.
Right.
It speaks to the importance of having a growth mindset, being open to new ideas, even when things are tough.
Exactly. And the speech emphasizes that setbacks are inevitable. It's how we respond to them that defines our resilience.
So it's not about avoiding challenges.
No.
It's about developing the mental and emotional strength to navigate them.
Exactly. The speech encourages us to step outside our comfort zones, face our fears, view setbacks as learning opportunities, not defeats.
They share this inspiring story about an athlete who suffered a major injury.
Oh, wow.
He could have easily given up
Yeah,
on his dreams.
right, for sure.
But instead of dwelling on what he had lost, he focused on what he could control. His attitude, his rehabilitation, his mental preparation. Through daily effort, commitment to growth, he not only returned to his sport, he came back stronger than ever.
That's amazing.
It's an incredible testament to the power of resilience.
It is.
It's a reminder that even when life knocks us down, we have the power to choose how we respond,
Yeah.
how we learn, how we rise again.
I love that. That brings us to creativity,
Okay.
which is often seen as like this elusive quality, you
Yeah.
know, that only certain people possess. But this speech argues that creativity can be cultivated in any field.
It's about thinking differently,
Yeah.
seeing connections where others don't,
Mm.
coming up with those innovative solutions.
It's about nurturing that spark of imagination within each of us.
Right.
And just like any skill, creativity can be strengthened through practice.
So the speech encourages us to engage in activities that stimulate the imagination, right?
Absolutely, whether it's drawing, writing, brainstorming, even daydreaming.
Yeah.
It's about finding ways to step outside of our routine thinking and tap into that wellspring of creativity within.
The speech shares an example of a business owner
Okay.
who is struggling to stand out in a really crowded market. Yeah, that's tough. And by focusing on daily creativity exercises, he came up with a product offering that revolutionized his whole industry.
That's awesome.
It's a powerful reminder that creative thinking can lead to breakthroughs
It can?
in any area of life,
Yeah.
whether it's our work, our relationships, our approach to daily challenges.
For sure.
Okay, so we've covered mindset, skills, health, relationships, focus, habits, knowledge, resilience, creativity. That brings us to our final area for improvement,
What's that?
contribution.
Oh, yes.
This is where the speech goes beyond individual growth, and it speaks to the impact that we have on the world around us.
It does.
It's about shifting our focus from what we can get to what we can give.
It's a beautiful shift.
Recognizing that true fulfillment doesn't come from accumulating wealth or status.
Right.
It comes from making a difference in the lives of others.
I love that.
And it doesn't have to be grand gestures or heroic acts.
Mhm.
The speech emphasizes the power of daily acts of contribution, no matter how small.
They can be so powerful.
So it could be a kind word,
Yeah.
a helping hand,
Mm-hmm.
or simply offering our time and talents
Right.
to a cause that we care about.
The speech shares this really moving story about a successful executive
Okay.
who achieved everything he thought he wanted, wealth, power, status,
Yeah.
but he still felt empty.
Interesting.
He realized that true fulfillment came from making a difference, not from those possessions or accolades.
So what did he do?
He found his purpose in mentoring young professionals, getting involved in community projects,
Wow.
using his influence to advocate for causes he believed in.
It's a reminder that even those who seem to have it all
Mm-hmm.
can find deeper meaning and purpose through acts of service.
Absolutely. And it reinforces the idea that we are all interconnected.
Right.
Our actions, no matter how small, have the power to create positive ripples in the world.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored the 10 areas for improvement outlined in this speech. We've started to uncover how interconnected these areas are
Yeah.
and the profound impact they can have on our lives.
It's clear that these 10 areas aren't like isolated compartments, but rather they work together to create this holistic approach to personal growth.
And while 10 areas might seem like a lot,
Yeah.
the speech emphasizes that it's not about overnight transformations.
Right.
It's about those small, consistent actions that we take each day.
It's about those daily choices.
Planting those seeds of possibility and then nurturing them with consistent effort, patience, and a belief in our own potential.
That's beautifully said. We've only just begun to explore the depths of this speech, In the next part of our deep dive, we'll delve deeper into each of these areas and uncover some practical strategies for making those daily improvements a reality.
We'll also explore that ripple effect of these actions, how our individual growth can inspire those around us and contribute to a better world. So stay tuned for part 2.
Welcome back to our deep dive into daily self-improvement. In the last part, we unpack those 10 key areas from the motivational speech mindset skills, health relationships, focus habits, knowledge, resilience, creativity, and contribution.
And what really struck me was just how interconnected these areas are. It's not about mastering one thing in isolation, but understanding how they all weave together to create a more fulfilling life.
Exactly. It's like a tapestry. Each thread contributes to the overall beauty and strength of the final piece. So let's dive back into a few specific areas and explore some practical steps you can take.
Sounds good to me. Let's revisit mindset. The speech uses that powerful analogy of the mind being a garden, and you talked about identifying and removing those weeds, the negative thoughts and limiting beliefs. Do you have any practical tips for how to actually do that?
Absolutely. One effective technique is to actually write those negative thoughts down, get them out of your head and onto paper. Once you see them in black and white, it's easier to start challenging their validity.
So, for example, if you catch yourself thinking, I'm not good enough to get that promotion, write it down and then ask yourself, is that really true? What evidence do I have to support that belief?
Exactly. You might find that the evidence is flimsy or based on past experiences that no longer apply. Once you start questioning those negative thoughts, you can begin replacing them with more empowering beliefs.
And that's where affirmations can come in handy, right? Repeating positive statements like, I am capable or I am worthy can help to rewire our thinking.
Affirmations can be a powerful tool, but it's important to make them specific and believable instead of just saying, I am confident. Try something like, I am confident in my ability to present my ideas effectively.
That makes sense. It's about creating affirmations that resonate with our own experiences and goals. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about skills. The speech emphasizes honing the skills that are crucial to your success, not just trying to learn everything. How do you suggest people go about identifying those key skills?
Start by thinking about your long-term goals and aspirations. Where do you see yourself in 5 years, 10 years? What skills will you need to achieve those goals?
So, for example, if you dream of starting your own business, you might need to develop skills in marketing, finance, or leadership.
Exactly. Once you've identified those key skills, the next step is to break down the learning process into manageable steps. Don't try to learn everything at once.
The speech suggests finding resources that align with your learning style. Maybe it's online courses, books, or working with a mentor.
And remember, consistency is key. Even dedicating 15 minutes a day to practicing a new skill can lead to significant progress over time.
It's like that saying, a little bit every day goes a long way.
Mm.
Okay, let's move on to health. We all know it's important, but it can be hard to find the motivation to prioritize it. What are some small daily changes that people can make to improve their overall well-being?
One simple change that can have a big impact is to start your day with a glass of water. It helps to rehydrate your body after sleep and can boost your energy levels.
I've also heard that eating a healthy breakfast is crucial for setting yourself up for a productive day.
Absolutely. A balanced breakfast provides your body with the nutrients it needs to function optimally.
And what about exercise? I know a lot of people feel intimidated by the idea of going to the gym or doing intense workouts.
Exercise doesn't have to be strenuous or time-consuming. Even a 20-minute walk each day can have significant benefits for your physical and mental health.
And can be a great way to de-stress and clear your head.
Exactly. And remember, improving your health isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling good, having more energy, and living a longer, healthier life.
Now let's talk about relationships. We touched on the importance of fostering connections, but how do we actually go about strengthening those bonds in a meaningful way?
One of the most powerful things you can do is to simply be present in your interactions. Put down your phone, make eye contact, and truly listen to what the other person is saying.
It's about giving the gift of your full attention, right?
Exactly. We live in a world of distractions, so those moments of genuine connection are incredibly valuable. Another important aspect of strong relationships is communication.
That means expressing our needs clearly and respectfully, as well as listening to the other person's perspective.
Exactly. And remember, communication is a two-way street. It's not just about talking. It's also about listening with empathy and understanding.
Okay, let's shift our focus to one of my personal struggles. Focus. How do we train our brains to stay focused in a world that's constantly vying for our attention?
Start by identifying your biggest distractions and creating strategies to minimize them. Maybe it's turning off notifications on your phone, creating a dedicated workspace, or using noise-canceling headphones to block out external distractions.
And what about those internal distractions, the thoughts that keep popping into our heads and pulling us away from the task at hand?
Mindfulness practices like meditation can be incredibly helpful for training your mind to stay present and focused. Even a few minutes of deep breathing exercises can help to calm your mind and bring your attention back to the present moment.
And you mentioned the Pomodoro technique earlier. Could you elaborate on how that works and why it's so effective?
It's based on the idea that our brains can only focus intensely for a certain amount of time before needing a break. So you set a timer for 25 minutes and work with complete focus on a single task. When the timer goes off, you take a 5-minute break to stretch, walk around, or simply relax your mind.
So it's like sprinting and then resting instead of trying to run a marathon without stopping.
Exactly. And those short breaks are crucial for preventing mental fatigue and maintaining focus over longer periods. Okay, let's talk about habits. The speech emphasizes that our habits shape our lives. What are some practical tips for breaking bad habits and building good ones?
I've heard that it takes 21 days to form a new habit. Is that true?
That's a common myth, unfortunately. The reality is that it takes much longer to form a lasting habit, anywhere from 66 days to over 250 days, depending on the complexity of the habit and your individual circumstances.
So consistency is key, and we need to be patient with ourselves.
Absolutely. Don't get discouraged if you slip up occasionally. Just get back on track and keep moving forward. One effective strategy for building new habits is to start small. Don't try to change everything at once.
So if you're trying to build a habit of exercising regularly, don't start by trying to run a marathon. Maybe just commit to a 15-minute walk each day.
Exactly. Make it so easy that you can't say no, and then gradually increase the duration or intensity as you get stronger.
And what about breaking bad habits?
One effective technique is to identify your triggers, the situations or emotions that lead you to engage in the bad habit. Once you're aware of your triggers, you can start to develop strategies for avoiding them or coping with them in a healthier way.
Okay, let's move on to knowledge. We talked about the importance of continuous learning. Do you have any suggestions for how people can make learning a more enjoyable and sustainable part of their lives?
Absolutely. One key is to find topics that genuinely interest you. You don't force yourself to learn about something just because you think you should.
So if you're fascinated by history, maybe you start listening to podcasts about ancient civilizations, or if you're passionate about cooking, maybe you enroll in a culinary class.
Exactly. Make learning a source of joy and exploration rather than a chore. And don't be afraid to experiment with different learning styles.
Some people learn best by reading, others by listening, and still others by doing.
Exactly. The key is to find what works for you and create a learning routine that fits your lifestyle.
All right, let's talk about resilience.
Mm.
We all face challenges and setbacks in life. How do we develop the mental and emotional strength to bounce back from those tough times?
One important aspect of resilience is developing a growth mindset, the belief that you can learn and grow from your experiences, even the difficult ones.
So instead of viewing setbacks as failures, we see them as opportunities for growth.
Exactly. It's about reframing our perspective and asking ourselves, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use this challenge to become stronger and more resilient?
The speech also emphasizes the importance of self-care when we're going through tough times. It's essential to prioritize our physical and emotional well-being.
Absolutely. That means getting enough sleep, eating nutritious foods, exercising regularly, and engaging in activities that bring us joy and relaxation.
And don't be afraid to reach out for support when you need it. Talk to a trusted friend, family member, or therapist.
It's a reminder that we don't have to go through challenges alone. Having a strong support system can make a world of difference.
Okay, now for a topic that I think a lot of people struggle with, creativity. We tend to think of creativity as this mystical talent that some people have and others don't. But this speech argues that creativity is a skill that can be developed.
Exactly. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with use. And the best way to develop your creativity is to simply start creating. Don't worry about being perfect or producing a masterpiece. Just allow yourself to experiment, play, and explore.
So maybe it's doodling in a notebook, writing a short story, or coming up with a new recipe. It's about giving ourselves permission to be creative without judgment.
Exactly. And remember, creativity isn't just about artistic expression. It's about thinking differently, solving problems in new ways, and seeing connections where others don't.
So it can be applied to any area of life, from our work to our relationships to our personal growth.
Absolutely. The more we cultivate our creativity, the more innovative and resourceful we become in all aspects of our lives.
All right, that brings us to our final area for improvement contribution. We talked about how this area connects our individual growth to a greater purpose. How can people start incorporating more acts of contribution into their daily lives?
Start by thinking about the things you're passionate about, the causes that resonate with you. Maybe it's animal welfare, environmental protection, or supporting the arts.
And then find ways to get involved, even in small ways. It could
Yep.
be volunteering at a local shelter, donating to a charity, or simply spreading awareness about an issue you care about.
And remember, contribution doesn't have to be a grand gesture. It's the little things we do each day that can make a big difference.
Like smiling at a stranger, holding the door open for someone, or offering a helping hand to a neighbor in need.
Exactly. It's about making a conscious effort to spread kindness and positivity wherever we go.
This has been an incredible deep dive. So far, we've explored the 10 areas for improvement outlined in that motivational speech, and we've delved into practical strategies for cultivating a growth mindset, honing essential skills, prioritizing our health-strengthening relationships, improving focus, building good habits, expanding our knowledge, fostering resilience, nurturing creativity, and making meaningful contributions to the world.
It's been a rich and inspiring conversation, and we've only just scratched the surface in the final part of our deep dive. We'll explore the interconnectedness of these areas, the ripple effect of our actions, and the transformative power of small, consistent steps.
We'll also discuss how to personalize this journey of self-improvement and create a roadmap for lasting change. So stay tuned for part 3. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into daily self-improvement. We've explored those 10 areas from the motivational speech, and I'm feeling pretty energized by all the practical tips we've uncovered.
It is amazing how much we've unpacked from just one speech, but what's really powerful is how these 10 areas aren't just a checklist, you know?
Right.
They work together, they create this upward spiral of positive change.
That's what's been hitting me. We've talked. It's like improving your health gives you more energy to focus, which helps you build better habits, which then strengthens your relationships. It's all interconnected.
Exactly. The speech touches on that too. It talks about how even small improvements can create this ripple effect, not just in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us.
I love that thought that by working on ourselves, we're also contributing to a more positive world.
Hmm.
It's not selfish. It's actually like a form of giving back.
And I think that's why this speech resonates with so many people. It taps into that desire for personal growth, but it also acknowledges our interconnectedness. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves so we can show up more fully for others.
And one thing I really appreciate is that the speech emphasizes that everyone's journey is unique. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to self-improvement.
Right, it's so easy to fall into the comparison trap, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Especially with social media constantly showcasing everyone's highlight reels. But the speech encourages us to focus on our own path, our own pace, our own definition of success.
It's about celebrating our own wins, learning from our own setbacks, and not getting discouraged if our journey looks different from someone else's.
Comparison is the thief of joy, right?
It is.
The speech also reminds us that self-improvement isn't about pushing ourselves to the point of burnout. It's about finding balance, making time for growth, while also taking care of ourselves and enjoying the present moment.
You can't pour from an empty cup. You need to take care of yourself so you have the energy and capacity to grow and contribute.
I love that analogy. The speech also talks about the importance of seeking out mentors, you know?
Yeah.
People who embody the qualities we admire and aspire to cultivate.
It's like having a guide on the path, someone who's been there before and can offer wisdom and support.
Exactly. But the speech also challenges us to become mentors ourselves, you know?
Right.
Share our experiences and insights to help others grow.
It's like paying it forward. We learn from those ahead of us and then use that to support those coming up behind us.
Exactly. It creates this beautiful cycle of growth and support. And the speech acknowledges that our definition of success might evolve over time. What once felt like the ultimate achievement might later seem like just another step on the journey.
It's like climbing a mountain. You reach one peak and suddenly you see a whole new range in the distance.
And that's exciting, right?
It means we're constantly growing, evolving, expanding our horizons.
Absolutely. The speech encourages us to embrace that evolution, to allow our goals to shift and change as we do. It's about staying curious, staying open to new possibilities, and never stopping learning and growing.
And through it all, the speech reminds us that progress is more important than perfection. It's about those small, consistent steps forward, rather than striving for some unattainable ideal.
It's about celebrating those small wins, learning from our missteps, and recognizing that every effort we make, no matter how small, moves us closer to our goals.
We're all works in progress, right?
We are.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
So before we wrap up this deep dive, are there any final nuggets of wisdom from the speech that you think our listeners should keep in mind?
Oh, there are so many, but one that really stands out is the emphasis on self-compassion. The speech reminds us to be kind to ourselves throughout this journey.
It's so easy to be our own worst critics, you know?
It is, especially when we make mistakes or fall short of our expectations.
Right.
But the speech encourages us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding that we would offer a close friend, acknowledge our efforts, celebrate our progress, forgive ourselves when we stumble.
We all stumble. It's part of the journey. Another point that really resonated with me was the idea that self-improvement doesn't happen in isolation as we grow and evolve. We impact the lives of those around us.
It's like that ripple effect we talked about. Our individual growth can inspire our families, motivate our colleagues, and even create positive change in our communities.
It makes you realize that working on ourselves isn't just about personal gain. It's about contributing to a better world. And finally, the speech encourages us to stay connected to our why. The reason we embarked on this journey of self-improvement in the first place.
Yeah, why are we doing this? What are our deepest motivations? What are we striving for? What kind of life do we want to create for ourselves and for others?
Keeping our why at the forefront of our minds can help us stay motivated, especially when we feel discouraged or tempted to give up.
So as we wrap up this incredible deep dive, I want to leave our listener with this thought. The power to shape your destiny lies within you every day is a new opportunity to choose growth, to choose improvement, to choose to become the best version of yourself.
And remember, it's not about overnight transformations or grand gestures. It's about those small, consistent actions taken over time that create extraordinary results.
It's about the books you read, the skills you practice, the healthy choices you make, the relationships. You nurture the moments of focus. You cultivate the habits. You build the knowledge. You seek the challenges. You overcome the creativity you unleash and the contributions you make to the world.
It's about embracing the journey, celebrating the wins, learning from the setbacks, and never giving up on your potential.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and feel empowered to embark on your own journey of daily self-improvement.
Remember, even the smallest step forward is a step in the right direction. Start today and never stop growing.